All right, it's Monday morning and welcome back to Wake Up Cricket powered by Pavilion Picks. We are going to get into a lot of new snippets. There's going to be IPL, of course, the IPL has begun. And so let's get right into it. Hit that like button, share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel, get us to 500 subscribers. We're really close. So get that going for us and let's get on with the news of the day.
Now, the news of the day would obviously be the result of the previous day IPL clash. And we get started with Mumbai Indians versus Kolkata Knight Riders game, where Mumbai Indians have sealed a 6 wickets win over Kolkata Knight Riders. Mumbai Indians had never chased down a 220 plus target in their previous 7 attempts. Mumbai Indians had never won their opening game of the IPL since 2012. On Sunday, day 2 of IPL 2026, MI broke two jinxes as they chased down 221 in 19.1 overs to begin their season with a comfortable 6 wickets win over Kolkata Knight Riders. Rohit Sharma wound back the clock, smashing 78 of 38 balls, while Ren Rickelton thumped 81 of 43, with the duo adding 148 runs for the opening wicket of 72 balls. That KKR were coming into this opening severely depleted on the bowling front was known. The extent of it was visible on Sunday night with Vaibhav Arora and Blessing Muzarabani toothless, Varun Chakravarti ineffective, and Sunil Narain a shadow of his former self. At the halfway mark, KKR might have been happy, reaching 220 for 4, their second highest score against MI in the IPL. Ajinkya Rahane, who at the toss said that he had never seen so much grass at Wankhede, scored a blazing 67 of 40 balls, while Ankush Raghuvanshi, another Mumbai lad, recorded 51 of 29 as KKR breached the 220 mark.
All right, so very interesting fixture yesterday, right? Obviously, there was all of the hype. It is the second match of the IPL. It's two giants in Mumbai Indians and Kolkata Knight Riders, both having won the IPL multiple times. And so, coming into this fixture, you know that the fans are always going to have a lot of things to say. But talking about the match itself, when the game started, KKR starting off with the bat, they got to 100 runs in just 8 overs, and at that point it felt like they would easily get to 240, 250. Now, of course, that is not how straightforward the game would be, so you would expect some ebbs and flows. And even in such a game where it was an absolute run fest, Kolkata Knight Riders were basically subdued in those middle overs by the Mumbai Indians, which meant that they eventually only reached 220. And I say only because the pitch yesterday was such a flat wicket. It was an absolute road to bat on, which was also evident in the way that Rohit Sharma and Ryan Rickelton came out to bat. They also got 200 runs in just the 8 overs, and Mumbai were on course basically throughout the chase, except for a couple of wickets that they were losing towards the end. But by then, I think the runs were already lesser than the balls that were required to get this target. And so eventually it worked out for the Mumbai Indians. Now, clearly you can see that the injuries have affected Kolkata Knight Riders, because going into this particular game, their fast bowlers collectively had played just 55 games. In fact, not even 55 if you remove the fact that Blessing Muzrabani was making his debut and Karthik Tyagi was returning after 2 years. So basically, it was just Vaibhav Arora with any kind of experience on the fast bowling front. Varun Chakravarti continues to remain out of form. Anukul Roy also got a ball, and now going forward, it will be important what KKR does. As for Mumbai Indians, they've broken so many jinxes just yesterday, which means that, hey, for Mumbai Indians fans, this is something to look at. Maybe this is finally the season.
Although in 2012 they didn't go on to win the IPL, that started in
That's true.
13 when they started with the loss. All right, then we'd move on to Thala finally because it's IPL time. So of course we'd be talking about Dhoni, although the news isn't much promising. Dhoni likely to miss first 2 weeks of IPL 2026 because of calf strain. MS Dhoni is likely to miss the first 2 weeks of IPL 2026 with Chennai Super Kings as he recovers from a calf strain. The franchise said on Saturday, the opening day of the tournament. Dhoni is currently undergoing rehabilitation for the injury, CSK said in a tweet. CSK begin their campaign on Monday, that is today, against Rajasthan Royals and will face Punjab Kings, Royal Challengers Bangalore, and Delhi Capitals in the first 2 weeks of the season. New marquee signing Sanju Samson, who will open the batting alongside captain Ruturaj Gaikwad, is the favourite to take up wicket-keeping gloves in Dhoni's absence. But CSK also have other options in Urvil Patel and newbie Karthik Sharma. Dhoni played all 14 matches last year, batting low down the order and preferring an entry point in the last few overs. He scored 196 runs from 13 innings, striking at 135 from 17, with the highest score of 30 not out. With just 4 wins, CSK finished bottom of the table in 2025 and will be looking for a change in fortunes this year.
Now, just to put in perspective where the Chennai Super Kings fans see MS Dhoni, when this thing was announced where basically he's not going to be playing for the first couple of weeks because of the calf strain, there were people who were already calling it a masterstroke. They were saying that he realizes that maybe he doesn't need to play in this 11 because of the fact that CSK have such a gun unit this time around, especially if you look at their batting side of things. We also saw the kind of wicket keepers they have. They have Sanju Samson, Nurul Patel's there, Karthik Sharma, the new buy, and when you paying that much money for someone like Karthik Sharma, more likely than not, he is going to be featuring in that 11, right? There was probably a good reason for why they've paid that hefty amount. And so I think from Dhoni's end, especially considering the fact that he was part of the practices, he was playing then. This calf strain is something to think about. Maybe he's realized that okay, it is his time more or less, and he might be doing the right thing here. In fact, I think he is doing the right thing if he's purposely decided to sit out, because in the first 2 weeks they have about 4 games, so you will be able to try combinations. Even if one thing doesn't work, there is another thing that you can try, two games, or maybe 3 games, 1 game, and that should give you a little bit of an idea of what you can expect for the rest of the season. So from Chennai Super Kings point of view, I think this is a positive more than anything, because you still have Dhoni's experience in the dugout, right? That's something that's always going to be there. Of course, you would want him on the field as a wicket keeper, but it's not easy. He's going to be 45, if I'm not wrong. And for him, with the kind of dodgy knees that he has, wicket keeping, anyways, is going to be a little bit of a pain. And so, especially when you have established keepers like Sanju Samson in the setup, why not just sit back, relax, mentor the players that are there? And just look at the batting combination. You have Sanju Samson and Rituraj Gaikwad on top. Ayush Matre, who we expected initially to open with the kind of explosiveness he's shown, has shown a favor towards number 3. So he's going to be possibly slotted in there. You have Shivam Dubey. There's one batter missing out, which we'll come to next, but it looks like a solid lineup. So I think it's fair.
And you think it's a masterstroke. Moving on, Deval Brevis to miss CSK's opening game in IPL 2026 as cued by Praatibh. Deval Brevis will miss Chennai Super Kings' opening game of IPL 2026 against Rajasthan Royals in Guwahati on March 30th due to a side strain. CSK coach Stephen Fleming confirmed the development on the eve of the match, that is yesterday. He's rehabbing and hopefully won't be for too long, Fleming said. Brevis's absence will deplete CSK further. They're already without fast bowler Nathan Alice, who has been ruled out of the entire season with injury, and MS Dhoni is likely to miss the first 2 weeks because of a calf strain. They're also waiting for the arrival of fast bowler Spencer Johnson, who is Ellis's replacement. Johnson, who's working his way back from injury himself, is set to link up with CSK around April 21st to 23rd. Brevis had joined CSK as a replacement player in the previous season after an injury to left arm quick Gurjapneet Singh and emerged as a six hitter in the middle order. He had 17 sixes and 125 balls and finished his short stint with 225 runs in 6 innings at a strike rate of 180. In the absence of both Dhoni and Brevis, Karthik Sharma and Prashant Veer, who CSK bought for INR 14.2 crore each at the auction in December, could be in line for their IPL debuts, with captain Ruturaj Gaikwad confirming that he'll open the batting along with Sanju Samson. Sarfaraz Khan and Urvil Patel are the options for CSK at number 3 or lower.
Now, if you just look at the numbers of some of these players, right, one of the issues with CSK that I can see, at least from a preliminary analysis of just their kind of strike rates and how they go about in the phases of a T20 innings, is that middle overs. Because you have Shivam Dubey, who's a spin basher, but outside of that, there is no one who really picks up the run rate, especially in those middle overs. And so, Duval Brevis coming in that spot was quite the blessing in disguise. I think he strikes at about 160 odd in just the middle overs of the IPL. And so, he would have been someone who could have accompanied Shivam Dubey there and could have just taken the attack to the opposition. And considering that he's not going to be there, as rightly pointed out in this article, there's a good chance that both Prashant Veer and Karthik Sharma come into the mix. Now, Sarfaraz Khan is actually a very interesting case as well over here, and this might be a blessing in disguise for him. The fact that Brevis is not there means that there is another spot that maybe Sarfaraz Khan can take up, because he's had the most blistering Syed Mustaq Ali tournament. I think he's stuck at over 200. He's got 300 plus runs in the tournament, and in domestic cricket, he's generally been doing well anyways. He's just got that into the T20 format now. And so, in some sense, you would be it would be a bittersweet thing that Brevis might is missing the first game. He might miss a couple of games because of the fact that he's still coming back from injury. But this is a great chance for CSK to just flex their muscles in terms of the Indian batting order that they have. Right, there's just class and pedigree throughout that lineup. There's established players. There's some new exciting players that are coming through the ranks. So honestly, as CSK, I still don't think I'm going to be worrying too much. But Brevis definitely leaves a small gap in the middle overs. If Sarfaraz Khan can come in and do what Brevis was doing last season, then I think they're sorted, and then they can just focus on where that extra overseas slot goes.
And in fact, even in the previous season,
Mhm.
after around the midway mark, it was
Yeah,
the players like Brevis and Mahatre who signaled a shift in
exactly.
intent with
Yeah.
the sort of style they displayed. Moving on, R. Ashwin joins San Francisco Unicorns for MLC 2026. R. Ashwin has signed with San Francisco Unicorns for the upcoming fourth season of Major League Cricket, becoming the first former Indian international to be a part of the tournament. Ashwin, who retired from international cricket in December 2024 and then from the IPL at the end of 2025 season after a lukewarm return to Chennai Super Kings, recently played an exhibition match at the Dallas-Worth area. Just looking at the reception that the Asian diaspora was able to bring for the game just showed me what the potential of American cricket could very well be. Ashwin told ESPN Cricinfo on Saturday, "It's very exciting. This will be the first time Ashwin will be playing in a T20 league outside the IPL. USA has been making moves towards becoming a major destination for cricket in the lead up to 2028 Los Angeles Olympic Games, where cricket will make a comeback after 128 years. Ashwin had recently signed up to play the 2025-26 Big Bash League for Sydney Thunder, but was ruled out because of a knee injury that required surgery. This will be the first time he's played in a major global franchise competition outside of India. Johnny Grabe, the MLC chief executive, told ESPN Cricinfo, and for us to be able to first be the first league to attract a player of this caliber is a testament to how the league has developed over the last 3 years since it was launched back in 2023.
I think Graves' words here actually are very worth putting a light on, right? Because MLC is, I mean, the equivalent of MLB, but for cricket. But it's become quite the league over the last couple of years. There's a lot of international stars that have gone and played this league. And it's good for USA cricket because you know that there is more talent from around the world that is coming in to play this tournament. It takes up the overall quality of the tournament itself. So, from that lens, it's really nice that now they've been able to get in Ravichandran Ashwin, who, of course, he's retired from international cricket, but is still one of the smartest cricketing brains going around, one of the best off spinners that the world has ever seen, let alone just for this generation. And so, him going there is going to be a huge advantage, whichever way you look at it. Even if Ashwin was to go to this team and not play a single game of cricket, they're still going to learn so much from the fact that he's going around and playing and interacting with all of these young players, many of which are from the Asian diaspora itself, right? Like USA's team has a lot of
Yeah.
Indians and Pakistanis itself, but just the fact that they get to interact with someone of the caliber of Ashwin, there's going to be so much exchange of knowledge, and especially in a place like US now, where of course the Olympics is also going, the cricket is also going to be returning in the Olympics in LA in 2028 itself. So there's already some kind of build up. There's a lot of cricketers who are doing good things. For example, Liam Plunkett is also doing stuff at the grassroots levels for USA cricket. So there is a lot of activity and buzz around cricket culture within the United States itself. So Ashwin coming on just becomes a cherry on top for them essentially. It'll be interesting to see how he goes, though he is going to be playing after a very long time. But all in all, I think this is a huge net positive.
And it reminds one of the Pat Cummins move as well. This was, I think, 2024 when
Mm.
he didn't play apart from IPL in any of the franchise tournament. And in fact, after that, took a fairly long break to
Yeah.
build up as well. But mentioned about his future career prospects and his interest in the owners of the team he was a part of. So,
Mm.
from that aspect as well, it's fairly lucrative for a lot of the cricketers. Next up, we have Shaheen Raza, who are blamed for forcefully escorting four visitors to hotel room. Lahore Qalandars have been accused by Punjab police of a serious breach of established security protocols after four unauthorized visitors made their way to the floor of the hotel where the Qalandars team was staying. In a letter written by a deputy police inspector and addressed to PSL CEO Salman Nasir, Qalandars captain Shaheen Shafridi and teammate Sikandar Raza were blamed for disregarding directives and forcefully escorting four visitors on Saturday night to one of the players' hotel rooms where they stayed for approximately 3 hours. The matter came to light after the letter from Punjab Police was widely circulated on social media, a copy of which ESPN Cricinfo reports it has seen. It alleges that Kalandar's liaison officer approached the PCB security head and anti-corruption manager seeking permission for four people known to Raza to enter his hotel room. The request was declined, with the letter alleging Samin Rana, the Kalandar's owner, then sought Nasir's permission for the same. That request, too, the letter says, was declined on security grounds. However, the letter alleges that the refusals were not heeded and Afridi and Raza forcibly escorted the four visitors despite resistance from on duty security personnel. It deemed the incident a clear violation of protocols designed to ensure the safety and integrity of players and officials. Any interactions of players and officials with the outside world has been largely limited, especially since it was announced the PSL would take place in empty stadiums. Though energy savings were cited for that measure owing to West Asia crisis, the PSL has always taken security exceptionally seriously since the tournament moved back to Pakistan, with cordons and checkpoints set up outside the hotels where players and officials stay.
All right, so this is a very interesting piece of news and it caught my eye straight away, right? It's also been circulating around, and of course, it's ESPN, so there is a certain credibility to it. But the reason that, firstly, these protocols are even in place, the reason that the players don't can't just get anybody into their hotel rooms is for the simple fact that match fixing and things like
Yeah.
that are fairly prevalent. And I mean, we don't see a lot of reports now because the ICC has sort of really cracked down on a lot of these cases, and especially I mean, when it has to do with Pakistan cricket, there's already a certain air around these things because there has been a history. There have been players who, unfortunately, knowingly or unknowingly, have become a victim of this, and so that's why these regulations are in place for the first thing. I mean, so from that lens, it is, especially with someone like Sikandar Raza, who has all of the experience in the world. In
Yeah.
fact, he's been around for about 15, 20 years at this point. For him to be breaching these protocols is definitely not a good look, firstly on himself, but also just on the league and everything of that sort. And you wonder why there was a need for that to happen. Now, of course, there will be investigation, there will be more reports on what is to happen. It's all speculation. It might be completely harmless. He might have just met some friends or some family members and just wanted to get them over for a cup of tea. But rules are rules, and there's a reason you follow them, because there's things that have happened in the past and you don't want that to repeat multiple times.
Absolutely. Now, finally, it's meme time, and it is the Rajasthan Royals that we are hyping up for the reasons that the meme itself would explain.
All right. So CSK fan base will die after Dhoni's retirement. RCB fan base will die after Kohli's retirement. MI fans are already cooking their team. KKR has no one as face of their team. SRH is nothing without flatties. So it's clear that Rajasthan Royals is the next face of the IPL. Now, this was a little bit of an indulgence from my side, being a Rajasthan Royals fan, but I don't necessarily think that this is true, right? Of course, Dhoni and CSK are always going to be irreplaceable. So is Kohli and RCB. But there's still a lot of stars coming through. There's still a lot of youngsters. Samson will essentially take over that whole brand with CSK, and Samson CSK is going to be the next big thing. Even with RCB, of course, yet they haven't found a player, but there are some stars emerging. Of course, Patidar, their captain, is someone who the fans really adore. So there are players that are going to come with Mumbai Indians. You always have the stars. You have Bumrah, you have Hardik Pandya. So many of these people. Gen next in terms of Tilak Verma as well. So they are sorted. Like there's still going to be fans turning up. Of course, you might see a dip initially once some of these legends retire, because I mean that's just the general human tendency, right? Your biggest people that you followed and supported for all of these years, they go out of the picture. So it is going to take you some time, but at the end of the day, it's still really exciting cricket. There's great quality that's coming through, and so ultimately the fans will come back, because you can't just turn off the TV, especially when your franchise is winning tournaments or winning a lot of matches and playing an exciting brand of cricket. You have to remember that at the end of the day, even with these marquee players like a Dhoni, Rohit Sharma, or a Virat Kohli, the reason that fans even came to them or like supported them is because they turned up season after season. They've consistently done well for the franchise, either as captain or as players. And that's why there is that bond and that support. But having said all of that, Rajasthan Royals is definitely an exciting franchise to watch out for, because the next essentially generation of Indian cricketers, Indian batters that are going to come through are all currently at RR. Of course, you have Riyan Parag, who's already played for India, Dhruv Jurel as well, Yashasvi Jaiswal, and Vaibhav Suryavanshi. I was just telling Ashwin yesterday how he's so young that 20 years down the line, if things are okay, he will
Yeah.
still be playing cricket and he will still be only 35. So that's
Mm.
a crazy thought to me, to think that 20 years down the line, you're still going to have one of these players around. So in that sense, I see why the Rajasthan Royals dynasty is possibly going to take over the IPL. I would hope that personally, but let us know what you think. I think this is it for our live today. We've covered the first couple of things in the IPL. We've covered some injuries. More of that tomorrow. There's going to be a game tonight. I think Rajasthan take on the Chennai Super Kings in the third fixture of this IPL. So definitely watch out for that. Watch out for us tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, share this with your friends. Get us to 500 subscribers. It'll be really neat if you can do that by tomorrow. That's it from us. Peace.